Let me ask you something. Is the Sabbath really that important, or is it just one of those Adventist things we talk about a lot? Now imagine a student in Bible class raising their hand and asking, why does it matter which day we worship on? Isn't loving Jesus enough? And suddenly, the teacher has to answer a question that is bigger than a day on the calendar. Imagine that classroom. A Bible teacher is explaining the Ten Commandments when a hand goes up. One student asks, why do Adventists care so much about Saturday? Another asks, isn't Sabbath just a rule? And then the toughest one, what if I love God every day? You can feel the tension in the room. The teacher realizes these students aren't just asking about a day. They're asking if God's commands are burdens or blessings. But here's where many people misunderstand Sabbath. Before we call it a rule, we need to ask where it came from. You see, Sabbath isn't just an Adventist tradition. It didn't start with a denomination. It began at creation. After 6 days of making our world, God did something unexpected. He rested on the seventh day. He didn't just stop, he blessed the seventh day and made it holy. This was before there was even a Jewish nation. Now, this is the part people often forget. Sabbath was built into the very fabric of our world. Later, God included it in the Ten Commandments. And do you know how that commandment begins? It starts with the word remember. God knew that in a busy world, this is the one thing we would be most likely to forget. Here's the answer I would give a fifth grader. The Sabbath is like a weekly gift from God that says, stop, rest, and spend time with me. It's a special day for rest, worship, family, and service. It's not a burden, it's a boundary that protects our peace. Do not miss this because it changes the whole conversation. How did Jesus view the Sabbath? The Bible shows us that Jesus honored the Sabbath. He spent it healing, teaching, and connecting with people. Jesus taught that the Sabbath was made for people, not people for the Sabbath. It was designed to serve us, not trap us. Every 7 days, we get a reminder that we didn't evolve by chance. We were created with purpose. In a world that tells us we are only worth what we produce, Sabbath reminds us that we are already loved. When we stop working, we are saying, God, I trust you to take care of the things I didn't finish. It's an act of faith. This is not just about a day. It is about who we trust. It's about relationship over legalism. From a Seventh-day Adventist viewpoint, the Sabbath is also connected to our loyalty to God in the final days. But let's be clear, it's not about earning salvation. We aren't trying to be superior. We're trying to be faithful. Now someone might say, but if I love God every day, why does one day matter? That is a fair question. Think about it. If someone you love sets aside special time for you, that time matters. Love makes time. Sabbath is God making time holy and inviting us into it. We don't ignore him the rest of the week, but this day is different. In that classroom, the teacher shifted the room. They stopped seeing a restriction and started seeing a relationship. And this is where Sabbath becomes personal. In a world that tells us to keep scrolling and performing, Sabbath says, stop. It says, you are not what you produce. You are a child of God. That is your true identity. Here is why Sabbath may matter more now than ever. We are more distracted than any generation in history. We need this weekly reminder that we belong to God, not to our schedules or our bank accounts. The teacher saw the students realize that God's commands aren't meant to trap us, they're meant to protect us. So is the Sabbath really that important? From a Seventh-day Adventist viewpoint, yes, but not to make life harder. Sabbath matters because God is trying to give us something the world keeps stealing: rest, worship, and peace. Sabbath is not just a rule, Sabbath is a gift. And maybe the gift was never the problem. Maybe we just forgot how beautiful it is. Maybe it's time we remembered. If this helped you see the Sabbath in a clearer way, share it with a parent, teacher, or youth leader. Follow this podcast for more honest Bible conversations and drop a Bible question in the comments that you've heard a child ask. Let's help faith make sense in everyday life, one question at a time. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.